Welcome to video 3 of our plantar fascia series. Previous videos, video 1 was our introduction, what is plantar fascia? Video 2 was all about applying percussion and foam rolling strategies to loosen your calves. This video is going to be a combo of stretching and strengthening. I'm going to do the stretching portion first. So if you feel like the stretching is super aggressive and you're not ready quite to add the strengthening portion in, totally okay. What I would say is, just like our previous video, apply for at least a week and see how you're doing. If you've done all your foam rolling for a week and you're like, I'm feeling pretty good, I'm not too sore anymore, okay, time to add the next piece in, great, let's add the stretching part in. If the stretching part does not feel too aggressive and you feel like, okay, I'm not overly sore, let's go ahead and add the strengthening part in, wonderful, add the strengthening part in. Just know that rehab is a sliding scale. You're going to have great days, you're going to have rough days, right? And with that, know that you are allowed to be the one sliding it, okay? So when we look at stretching the calves, just like anything else in this series, these are very generic applications for plantar fasciitis. If you're having anything that is more aggressive, or if these are not working for you, please reach out to myself or another practitioner that can help you narrow down what's going on, whether it's further up the hip, whether there's something going on that maybe just hasn't been caught yet. So just know, start with a generic and then kind of move on from there. Now, when it comes to calves, there are a lot of different ways to stretch your calves. I'm trying to show you ones that you don't need a lot of tools for. In this video, we'll be addressing a soleus stretch, which is handling where the Achilles tendon connects into the soleus, and we'll be handling a gastroc stretch. One of the reasons why I don't handle an anterior tibialis stretch, which is on the front of your foot in this video, is because most people don't really need that particular stretch. If you are one who does, I'll put that in a separate video. Also, if you're hypermobile, it is one of the hardest things to stretch. So me personally, I've never really been able to stretch that muscle even with someone else's assistance. So that's why I tend to not address it here, because a lot of my particular viewership is for hypermobile individuals. Now, when we go into that soleus stretch, the trick with that soleus stretch, especially for a hypermobile individual, is going to be picturing where you want the stretch to come from. When I do this, I just need a flat surface to lean against, and I'm going to picture my knee is loose, my hip is neutral, and I'm going to picture the stretch pushing from my heel. Now, yes, you're seeing hip movement. Yes, you're seeing knee movement, but I'm picturing my heel pushing into the ground, heel pushing in. If I had to get back to here to do this, cool, that's fine, right? Notice I'm not really fully locking out that knee. I'm pushing right from this area. Just like anything else with calves, you want to keep it fairly dynamic. Pushing into a really static calf stretch, especially if you're hypermobile, could be painful. Also could overstretch the tissue to a point where it doesn't have your spring anymore. We don't really want that for calves, right? Quads, probably a different story, right? So going through and finding that pumping motion, and just easing into it more makes it a lot easier for what we're trying to do, and that's to get blood flow to the tendon and the calf. This is basically encouraging your pumps of your system to put the blood flow in. Now, when we're looking at those types of stretches as well, it's not stretch as fast and as hard as you can. First sensation is enough. So if I get out to here and I'm like, oh, all right, I kind of feel it. You don't need to go much further than that, especially in the beginning. I don't want you guys just like forcing your body into stretches. That's never going to help anybody. Gentle, kind application to your muscles. Now, when we're looking at the gastroc stretch, so we're trying to get, the bigger muscles in the calves, some people find it easiest with some kind of wedge or something to prop their foot up on, or to hang off a stair or a curb. Now, for the sake of the video, I don't have a curb or a stair here, so we're going to slightly mimic it using some of the tools that I have here. When I say a wedge, if you're an athlete and you're out there working out a lot, it would not hurt you to invest in one of those wooden calf stretch wedges on Amazon. They're like 30, 40 bucks. We've found them at thrift stores before for 10 to 20, but it's something that you can use for a lot of things over time. And I don't recommend a lot of investment in tools unless you really need them. It's something that I've used with clients for years for a variety of things. Having one at home has been very helpful too. So I'm going to mimic that here with our massage wedge. So as I come up to the edge here, I'm going to put my foot on the wedge, but I'm not like partial like so. I'm going to put the majority of my foot on the wedge. I do like to keep a teeny tiny bit of the heel on the ground just because my foot likes to slide. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to force gently my knee into the wall. And we don't want knee caving it a bunch. We don't need caving out a lot. We want to try to keep it in line with the hip. And I'm just going to gently try to keep heel on the ground and then push into the wall. And notice if I just go and hold, I'm not really making any progress, right? But if I'm able to gently pulse it more, you can see I can actually get further because the calves like that dynamic pulse. A couple other ways that you can do this. Some people, just putting their foot up against the wall is enough. I don't get a calf stretch here at all. So if you're one of those people that just putting your foot up against the wall and getting this nice gastroc stretch is enough, fantastic. Try it that way. Some people need a little prop up against the wall, right? A little something to kind of ease that gap. Like here, I start to get a little bit of a stretch. Really where I feel this the most, I'm going to demonstrate this without my full body weight on it, is if my whole foot is on the step, sorry, not my whole foot, but this part forward is on the step, and I just gently let my foot hang without locking my knee out. Now here, once again, I can pulse it, right? If I was both feet on the step, I can even bicycle it while on the step. Please hold on, right? Now, as we're going, I want to make sure that this foot is going below the line of the stair, right? So we can kind of picture what that would look like if I'm doing this number nice and controlled. All the way off the stair, all the way off the stair. Now, here's what I like about that particular stretch. You're also tempo strengthening the tendons in your ankles. It's a twofer, right? I don't want a bunch of different protocol where I have to do 20 million things at once. If we can combine things, let's combine things. So if you need to just do one at a time to start, or if you need to just kind of hang with both feet and pulse to start, wonderful, right? Same thing as we did with the foam rolling, 1 to 3 times a day. For this, I would do 10 to 20 reps, build up to it, controlled. Now, if you're able to get to the point where you can hang on to that step and slowly bicycle both, wonderful. You've already eased into the strengthening part of this. What that's going to do is that's going to help tempo control Achilles. It's going to go through and help tempo stabilize those calf muscles. So you're already going to be building into your strengthening portion with that. Now, for most people, our gastroc is really struggling because hamstring weakness, right? You also have a lot of weakness through the front of the calf. We'll address hamstring strengthening in the hip video. So if you feel like those bicycle pumps and the next exercise I give you aren't enough, go ahead and go over to that hip series. That way we can stabilize your hamstrings at the same time. Now, there's a lot of ways to train this particular muscle, okay? For me, it's very awkward to try to set my band up against something and eccentrically pump it on the floor. It's a lot of setup. Now, if we can do this with just our body weight and something else, it's a lot more helpful. So in this case, what I like to do is go into a very slight wall sit. Now, the point here is I do want some core control, neutral core, a little bit of glute, just to keep ribs in line with hips. We don't need to go back to basketball season. That's not the point, right? What we want to do here, if you get a little quad engagement, cool, I don't care. But what I really want to make sure is you're using glute and core to stabilize. Here, also, if you need to put a block or a roller here to make sure knees aren't going different directions, that's fine. You want to try to keep things in line with your hips. So when I'm here, I can start with just 1, control it down. 1, control it down. Now notice this foot already wants to kind of navigate out. Now my hips are tight, that's why. I'm going to pull it back to center. As I'm lifting, I want to try to make sure that foot is lifting straight up. We're not kicking out, we're not kicking out. Control it right back down. If doing individual is comfortable, all right, let's graduate. Let's try going, once again, loose knees, especially for my hypermobile people. Lift, control. Lift, control. You can literally see the front of my calves start to activate as I control back down. Just like any of those exercises, let's build up to 3 times a day, 10 to 20 reps. I would do each phase for a week to 3 weeks until you're symptom free. So if you've done your foam rolling for a week and feel pretty good, great. Ready for the next step? We're moving to the strengthening and the stretching. If you've done your stretching for a week, feeling pretty good, great, move into your strengthening. If you're doing it week by week like that, end of week 3, you should be feeling pretty stable, right? If not, then your body just might need some more time. We have to remember that adaptation for the human body is 6 to 8 weeks. So my recommendation is always do these protocols 3 weeks past end of symptoms, because I want to make sure that we've hit that extra mark and you're not getting a flare up. So if you're able to do this for your symptoms end week 1, keep going through week 3. If the end of week 3 you're still feeling pretty good, ease off, right? Maybe just do the strengthening portion before a workout. Do the stretching part at the end of the night. When we look at these symptoms, we know whatever got you here is probably not something that you're giving up yet. It's probably something that's a part of your lifestyle. So how can we incorporate this into your lifestyle? If we think about our whole workday as a workout, right? Well, then at the end of the day, you want to cool down. So maybe you do your stretches and your strengthening before you go to work in the morning. This is, of course, when we're symptom free. And then at night, you do your foam rolling or percussion as a cool down. Do that, 2 or 3 times a week as needed to kind of keep symptoms away, because more than likely, this wasn't just because of your workout. This was because of lifestyle stuff. And this way we can adapt this to match your lifestyle and to keep everything healthy long term. Once again, if any of these videos have ever helped you, please send them on to someone else who might need it, or comment. Is there something else you'd like to learn about, or if you have any additional questions?